President. Now I would like to request our ANS Treasurer, Ms. Manmaya Dahal, to coordinate to sing a national anthem, both America and Nepal. Thank you very much.
प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचल वीरहरूको रगतले स्वतन्त्र र अचल ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तराई पहाड हिमाल अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल बहुजाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छन् अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल जय जय नेपाल।
Author to Springs of Namje, Mr. Rajib Goyal, and ladies, gentlemen, and all great people. Good afternoon and welcome to today's event at American Nepal Society. We are delighted, grateful, and honored to have you here. Knowing that many of you travel long distance and try to insert this event in your busy schedule, serve to remind us all just how important this event is. My name is Manmaya Dahal, Treasurer of ANS, American Nepal Society. I would like to thank you for your presence to make this evening a successful one. American Nepal Society, or ANS, has been serving Washington metro area since 46 successful years. ANS is non-profit organization. Also one of the oldest Nepalese organizations in the state. It was established in 1967. The activities ANS has done over the years are for fostering greater knowledge and understanding of literature, arts, culture, values, manners, and social custom among Americans and Nepalese. The former U.S. Ambassador Ellsworth Bunker is the first honorary chairman of the ANS in 1967. Colonel William Gresham served as an honorary president of the ANS in the same year, 1967. Since then, many Americans and Nepalese have contributed their valuable time, effort, and talent to foster the bridge of culture, value, and traditional among Americans and Nepalese under the banner of ANS. This year, Dr. Thakur Puraseni, Associate Dean at the University of North America, is leading the team to provide us outstanding service to Nepalese and Indigenous community. We are focusing and blending educational and culture by organizing different kind of educational competition for youth. By organizing seminars, talk programs on social economics, socio-politics, geopolitics, and human rights, by organizing culture program and welcoming literary figures. As ANS has been conducting its activity, collaborating with Nepalese Embassy and other organizations. In order to successfully run an organization, we need your support, feedback, and suggestion. Your help is always appreciated. Thank you.
Our American Nepal Society first Vice President Jiwan Tiwari to welcome our distinguished guests and all. Jiwan Tiwari.
Writer and Mr. Rajib Goyal, all respected fiscal volunteers, ladies and gentlemen, all great people, good afternoon. and welcome to today's ANA's talk program on the Spring of Namje. Just my colleague, Manmaya, just introduced about American Nepal Society. I don't have much to add on that. Let me introduce our chief guest, Mr. Sharma, who is a Nepalese ambassador to the United States. He has done his PhD from the University of Hawaii, and he was the vice chairman of National Planning Commission from 2002 to 2006. Dr. Sharma also worked as a consultant for the Constitution Committee on Distribution of Natural Resources, Economic Rights and Public Revenue in helping draft the new constitution in Nepal. Ms. Sharma has extensive experience in government, international institution, economic research. He's the highest level of development planner in Nepal. He provides leadership to the Planning Commission, and while doing so, he had specialized on poverty reduction strategy, which the country is improving right now. He's also very successful on his current role as ambassador. He has re-established the U.S.-Nepal Trade and Treaty. He has facilitated to establish a Nepal caucus in the Capitol Hill. He facilitated relaunch of Peace Corps volunteers to Nepal, and he also helped remove terrorist attack to one of the major political party in Nepal. Welcome, Dr. Sharma. We're also honored to have Mr. Donald Kemp here in our program. He was a former principal deputy assistant secretary for Southeast Asia. Welcome, sir. Our keynote speaker today, he is an ex-volunteer for Peace Corps, Mr. Rajiv Goyal. He has written this lovely book, The Spring of Namje, which we are going to talk in detail about that today. He was born in New York. He was a lawyer and activist. He's a rural development worker. He worked for Peace Corps volunteer. Not only he did that, he led the national coordination campaign to push Peace Corps volunteers in the United States. He was able to get support from more than 100 congressmen while doing so. And while the entire US government was doing like a reduction in budget, he was able to advocate to add funds to the Peace Corps volunteer by adding $60 million and reestablish. He's a really good friend of Nepal, and he has partnered with several non-profit organizations over there. Welcome, sir. We also have a privilege of having some of our former Peace Corps volunteers. I see Terry Messenger over here. He was in Nepal in late 70s. I was just talking to him, and he was saying he was in Janakpur in that time frame. I'd like to welcome Terry. I'd like to welcome our advisor, Mr. Joseph Grew. Welcome, sir. My special thanks to my media friends. Some of you are here today. Mr. Ramkar from Sagarmatha TV, Mr. Vishnu Thapa from enablis.com, and some other friends also who are not here but help us communicate our message, send our notice publications, DC Nepal, Nepal Horizons, which is now realcover.com, Nepali Post, Nepal Media, Vishnu Parikrama, etc. With all the inspiration we are going to get today from Mr. Goyal and some other Peace Corps volunteers, I hope our community in DC Metro reaches beyond some personal and individual issues towards the broad issues and broad approach to live and to work for the entire community. I thank you all for being here, and I hope you all enjoy.
It's about Peace Corps. The Peace Corps initially started as a challenge by then Senator John F. Kennedy to students at the University of Michigan to serve their country in the cause of peace by living and working in developing countries. It was officially established in March 1st, 1961 and grew to become a federal government agency devoted to world peace principle. It has three goals: helping the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women, helping promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served. Helping promote a better understanding of the peoples on the part of Americans. The Peace Corps and its volunteers have contributed to a lot of different programs in Nepal since it was first established in 1961. However, their operations were suspended in year 2004 due to security reasons. In September 7, 2012, the Peace Corps resumed its operation in Nepal with 20 new trainees. Dr. Shankar Prasad Sharma is the only one genuine person who is in our presence today. He has played a very significant role in this return of the Peace Corps and its volunteers. Therefore, we American Nepal Society like to honor Dr. Shankar Prasad Sharma. And I would like to call ANS President to honor him by offering a flower. The Spring of Namje, author of the Spring of Namje, Rajiv Goel. And Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for South and Central Asia, Mr. Donald A. Kemp. And Dr. Joseph Drew. Mr. Donald A. Kemp to deliver his speech. Before that, I would like to say a very few words about him. Mr. Donald A. Kemp was Foreign Policy Advisor to the Chief of Naval Operations from 2006 to 2007. Prior to that, he was Deputy Assistant Secretary and the Principal Assistant Secretary for the South and Central Asia. He has also served as a Director of the Office of India, Nepal and Sri Lanka and the Department of State, as well as Deputy Director for Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. He is such a great person and good politician. Please give him a big hand.
Ambassador Sharma, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Goel, distinguished guests, Mr. Drew, friends, thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm very grateful to the American Nepal Society for this opportunity. I'm particularly delighted because in addition to that kind introduction, I also served as a Peace Corps volunteer, not in Nepal, but in India. So I am well aware of the role that Peace Corps can play. I'm also well aware of the affection that a Peace Corps volunteer develops for the country in which he or she serves. I'm very much looking forward to hearing Mr. Rajiv Goel's experiences in Nepal. He already has a distinguished career and is well known for his role in helping to increase the size of the Peace Corps and encouraging our lawmakers to add to the Peace Corps budget so that it can expand to other countries. I did not serve in the Peace Corps in Nepal, but I've had the pleasure of living there over the years for short times. And I've always been impressed by the Peace Corps in Nepal. It's one of the oldest Peace Corps programs. It goes back to 1962. It was one of the very first after President Kennedy announced the program. There's a fascinating book. In addition to this one, there's another book about Peace Corps in Nepal, about the first Peace Corps group by a gentleman named Jim Fisher, which describes basically the origins of the program. When Peace Corps had to leave because of the perceived security threat in Nepal, I think a lot of us were very, very disappointed. I would like to also pay particular thanks to Ambassador Sharma for the role he played in bringing Peace Corps back to Nepal, because I think that is one of the very important elements of the U.S.-Nepal relationship. So it's very good to see that Peace Corps is back in Nepal, and I look forward to hearing Mr. Goel's description of Peace Corps today. Thank you.
deliver his speech.
Admirer of your president, Dr. Putaseni, who I've known for now 6 or 7 years. I'm a great admirer of the ambassador, Ambassador Sharma. We served together in a doctoral dissertation committee, and I was very impressed with his intellectual capabilities and the wonderful way he represents his country. I'm honored to sit on the same platform with Ambassador Camp, Secretary Camp, who has represented our country so well in South Asia. I've been to Nepal, and I had the honor in 1990 of being asked to represent briefly the Congress Party of Nepal here. And I've loved that country very much, and I congratulate everybody here who has roots in Nepal and roots in the United States. It's so nice to hear the national anthem of both countries sung, and sung so beautifully. Before I got up, Dr. Putaseni told me, he said, remember, he said, you don't have to be eternal to be immortal. So, he said, don't talk too long. So I said, okay. So, the point I would like to make is in honor of the Peace Corps volunteers. And I think that our species has been on Earth about 50,000 years. And we became civilized about 5,000 to 8,000 years ago. And most of the time that we've lived on Earth has been as hunter-gatherers. And during that time, cooperation was essential for mankind to survive. And volunteering was essential for mankind to survive. And recent studies on the hunter-gatherer lifestyle, which lasted roughly 95% of the time that we have been in existence, has shown that the reason we succeeded as opposed to our competitors in the animal kingdom is because cooperation and volunteerism has been the essential ingredient that Homo sapiens had that our fellow primates and the other members of the Homo genus didn't have. Our scholarship tells us that since the dawn of human history, there's been a struggle between the individual and the society. We have calls to us as individuals and calls to us as members of society. According to a late professor from Princeton, Julian Jaynes, we were no different from the animals for most of our time on Earth in that we didn't see ourselves as individuals at all, but as members of a group. And then, according to him, at a certain point, which we can see in literature, the development of the individual commenced. And since that time, the individual has been engaged in a constant struggle with the society. In primitive societies, according to Durkheim, we began with what he called mechanical solidarity. Every one of us could substitute for everybody else. But as time moved on, we developed what he called organic society, where each of us had a specialized role to play that the community demanded of us. Many other scholars, particularly I would mention Tunis and Sir Henry Sumner Maine, have followed in that tradition of trying to look at the development of our social interaction, in the struggle, a constant struggle between the demands of individualism, the demands of ourself, and the demands of society, neither of which could exist without the other. I think that since the Industrial Revolution, you have seen the development of a bureaucratized society where organizations have been critical and yet, to some extent, calcified in most societies of the world. It has taken the volunteer to mediate between the group and the individual, to represent those needs and those concerns of individual people that have not been met by organized society. It has been this interaction, this partnershiping between volunteers that has made possible the emergence in the modern era of a more sensitive relationship between the individuals and our society as a whole. So I wanted to congratulate the Peace Corps as representing the highest apotheosis, you might say, the highest ideal of individuals who are high-minded and who serve the purpose of mediating between our social institutions and the individual needs that human beings possess. I congratulate the Peace Corps. I know the wonderful work they've done in South Asia, and I think that they have represented our country extremely well.
Honored guests and ladies and gentlemen, greetings on behalf of the advisory committee. I would like to wish you all the best. 25 years ago, I read in Reader's Digest, and I quote, "Good communicator tend to speak in a word, but poor communicator tend to speak in a paragraph." So, short and sweet speech can be appreciated by all. This is the volunteer organization, based organization, so we serve the community from the bottom of our heart. I urge everyone to be committed and dream big, plan carefully, and implement sincerely. Never say that we don't have time. It is rightly said by the greatest intellectual that the busiest man has the greatest leisure. Take example of President Obama and take example of His Excellency Dr. Shankar Prasad, how they manage in their time. American Nepal Society is the oldest organization in the not only United States of America, it is in the entire North America. Can you imagine? Ellsworth Bunker was the founder of this organization. He was in acute and massive stress when Vietnam War was there. That time, this prestigious organization was established in the capital of the United States of America. So we are proud to be the member of this organization. Fortunately, Mr. Goel, Mr. Arthur, I born in Dhankuta district and made my home at Morang districts. I'm very excited to learn about the book. I hope everybody will listen very carefully. Again, I wish you all the best. God bless America. God bless Nepal. Pashubanathले हामी सबैको रक्षा गरौँ. Thank you, sir.
Speech to our honorable donor, Chokra Chhetri, who had donated 21 ropanis for Anna and 2 dam of land to build a school at Namje, which was also the project launched by Peace Corps volunteer Mr. Rajapati.
उपस्थित यहाँका चाहिँ सिनियर पदाधिकारी ज्यूहरू र यहाँ चाहिँ दिदीबहिनी दाजुभाइहरू, म चाहिँ धनकुटा जिल्लाको डाँडाबजार गाविसमा जन्मेको र त्यो हुँदै धरान काठमाडौँ हुँदै अमेरिकामा अहिले आइरहेको छु। मेरो बाउबाजेहरूले चाहिँ नेपालको विभिन्न जिल्लाहरूमा चाहिँ घर जग्गाहरू जोड्नु भएको थियो। त्यही अनुपातमा चाहिँ धनकुटा जिल्लाको भेडेटारमा पनि उहाँहरूले चाहिँ 21 रोपनी 4 आना 2 पैसा जग्गा जोड्नु भएको रहेछ। त्यो जग्गा चाहिँ त्यहाँ स्कुलले किन्ने भनेर मेरो दाजुहरूसँग कुरा गर्नुभएछ र मेरो दाजुहरूले चाहिँ मेरो नाममा छैन, भाइको नाममा छ, भाइ चाहिँ अहिले काठमाडौँमा छ, सम्पर्क गर्नु भनेर भन्नुभयो। तर स्कुलले चाहिँ अलि मसँग सम्पर्क गरे, स्कुलको टिचरहरूले मसँग सम्पर्क गर्नुभयो। उहाँहरूले मसँग किन्न माग्नुभएको थियो। मैले चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ जग्गा म बेच्दिनँ हैन, तर मेरो बाउआमाको नाममा चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ दान गर्न म चाहन्छु भनेर मैले चाहिँ भने। तर त्यो दान गर्न मिल्छ कि मिल्दैन त्यहाँको शिक्षा कार्यालय मालपोत कार्यालयमा कुरा गर्नु भनेर उहाँहरूलाई मैले भनेको थिएँ। र दाजुहरूले चाहिँ मलाई के भन्नुभयो भने त्यहाँ जग्गा छ, त्यो स्कुलले किन्न मागेछ, त्यो हाम्रो सङ्घको जग्गा हो, त्यो किनेर चाहिँ पैसा बाँड्नुपर्छ हामीले भन्नुभयो। मैले दाजुहरूलाई के भने होइन, बाबुआमाको नाममा त्यो एउटा जग्गा चाहिँ त्यहाँ चाहिँ हाम्रो 21 रोपनी 4 आना 2 पैसा।
Before that, I would like to say a very few words about him.
Today's speaker, Mr. Rajiv Goel, Mr. Donald Camp, Dr. Drew, and friends. I don't want to take much of your time because I think probably we have to leave this place by 4:45 and then 4:30. So we'd like to give more time to Rajiv. I always remember also like what Vijay has said. When you are speaking, just remember the word which is very common, kiss. Keep it sweet and simple. But before that, what I would like to do is what Mr. Tiwari said, what Mr. Sam said about me is probably we need to do some correction. I was the witness of so many developments between Nepal and the United States over the last 3 years. There are so many other things that has been done. It is not possible without the cooperation of the State Department, the members in the Capitol Hill and other well-wishers of Nepal. Now talking about today's program, Rajiv Goyal, I think he's not only the writer of a book and articles, but he has made a second home in Dhankuta, Namje. And then that's something great. He has traveled to Namje, I'm sure, for about almost 24 times within the last 10 years, which we probably cannot do that much back home, neither in Kathmandu nor the place that we were born to. Not only that, I think what he has written in the book that we would like to listen to is he learned lessons in Namje, Dhankuta, and then used the same lesson to have a Peace Corps push campaign in Washington, D.C. And then he was very successful, as our earlier speaker have already said about that. He was able to increase the funding for Peace Corps program substantially, significantly. In the meantime, we have, in Nepal, we have resumed Peace Corps program in the country. In the days to come, 2013 and 2014, probably we will have more good news about the Nepali program, Nepali Peace Corps program in Nepal. I don't think I would like to take much of your time. I would like to stop here and maybe I think we would like to listen to him about his lessons, what he has learned from Nepal and his experience.
Remarks and to close today's session.
Yes, Honorable Mr. Dr. Shankar Sharma, our former Deputy Assistant Secretary, Mr. Khan, Mr. Goyal, our Peace Corps volunteer, our renowned Professor Dr. Drew, our media friends, Ramchandra Kharel, Sagarmatha Television, Vishwaraj Thapa, enablis.com, ladies and gentlemen, and our former Peace Corps volunteer. It is a good time for us to listen everybody's opinion. As our Vijay Thapaji said, I'm not going to speak too lengthy, but today's program mostly focused about the books written, authored by Mr. Rajiv Goyal, with the book that reflects most of the characters, attributes of the rural sector of Nepal. And he taught English to the rural poor, and he lived there. He reflected his idea in that rural village. So much of that we will listen from him. And one more thing, the Peace Corps process that started from the very beginning was sometimes a breakthrough, and Honorable Dr. Sharma, who gave a continuity to it. So we already honored Dr. Sharma, and in this way we honor him again by giving him big hands. So please give him big hands. Mr. Khan, who has foreign careers, mostly in the diplomatic sectors, so I also honor him. And the former Peace Corps volunteers, I also would like to honor him because you devoted your most of the time to serve as a volunteer in Nepal in rural village.
So that is admirable one. And I will not take much time. So America-Nepal Society, which my colleagues already informed you that it is the oldest non-profit organizations established in 1967, and now it has aimed to focus our activities mainly on information, communication, and education, just like we have already announced some of the programs, just like inspiring future entrepreneurs, housing information, buying, housing process, and the others, just like economic interactions and the others as arises. So I will like to give you the honor to be present here in this meeting. Thank you so much for your presence here. I, on behalf of America-Nepal Society, would like to honor you. Thank you so much.
Deliver a thank you note to our guest, chief guests, media friends, and all.
Mr. Chairman, Chief Guest, His Excellency Dr. Shankar Prasad Sharma, writer and volunteer Rajiv Goel, distinguished guests, advisors, NA advisors, friends, and media. America-Nepal Society was established, everybody already mentioned about that, it's 46 years ago with the joint initiative of American and Nepali. And that former ambassador, at that time, former ambassador of Nepal, Mr. Ellsworth Bunker, was the first honorary chairman, and Colonel William Gresham served the ANS honorary president in the same year. Naturally, this is the matter of pride for us to have organized a talk program of Mr. Rajiv Goel's book, The Spring of Namje. I have not been read it, but before I came here, I checked Google, and I saw that there's so many comments, and it is published by Amazon.
And those are all my friends. Right?
Yeah. And I saw there's a star marks, there's a 4.5, almost 5 stars. I think it will be very interesting and most popular book. And this is I know, but I do believe that the book will be further help promote US-Nepal friendship. Also, I would like to say, we as a writer, this is only not your pride. This is the pride of Nepal, because you introduce Nepal, especially Dharan Thanputa, to the world. You bring the book, and I'm thankful about that also. Really, this is the pride of the nation. Finally, I would like to thank His Excellency Dr. Shankar Sharma, Mr. Donald Kemp, former Principal Assistant Deputy Secretary of State, South and Central Asia, Senior ANS Advisor Dr. Joseph Drew, all ANS advisors, distinguished guests, and my friends, media, for their kind presence in this program. And finally, I would add like a few more sentence. I know this is the first established non-profit organization 46 years ago. But now, until now, we passed so many years and so many president and ambassador and all. But and this is the small gathering, but this is the I guess this is the very intellectual gathering. Why not we do more activities, bring our ideas, whatever American ideas, our international ideas, Nepali ideas, bring more activities and strengthen our relation nationally, internationally, Nepal, as well as the benefit of here, Nepali society, American society, everybody. And I would like to request Ambassador to take initiative. It's the 46 years as of this, our ANS, still we don't have any any permanent place to, we have a meeting sometimes here and there, and sometimes, different houses. Why don't we find same, who give the land of the, what's the, let's find out someone who can, okay, I'm happy and thankful to you because you have very big heart. And we also looking like you in America who can give the place for us to have a meeting and then do this kind of activities. Thank you. Thank you.
Author of the book, The Springs of Namje, Mr. Rajiv Goyal, to explain about his history working in beautiful Himalayan country of Nepal as a Peace Corps.
रेस्पोन्ड गरेन तर खोजेर उहाँहरू आइदिनु भयो म उहाँकै घरमा गइरहेको छु अनि उहाँले एकदम ठुलो दान गर्नुभएको छ हाम्रो प्रोजेक्टमा म त्यसको बारेमा भन्छु. But first I would like to give my great thanks to, I traveled about 6 hours this morning to drive here, and one of the main reasons that I came was to, in front of all of you, and as a surrogate for all of the people who really care about the Peace Corps as an organization, all of the former Peace Corps volunteers, and most importantly, all of the prospective Peace Corps volunteers, I came here to thank Ambassador Sharma, who really made the key effort that helped restore the Peace Corps to Nepal. I know because I worked on it very closely with him, and most people don't know that the Peace Corps doesn't go into a country without an invitation from that country. And so critical to orchestrating that invitation was Ambassador Sharma. And he probably wouldn't share this with you, but I also know that he raised the issue of the return of the Peace Corps to Nepal with the President of the United States. And so therefore I think he deserves a great round of applause as well. And I'm sorry that I'm missing so many people here today. So what I wanted to do was, and I think we can dim the lights a little bit. Dave, go ahead. One of the poorest countries in the world, and they measure with this dollar index, $1 a day, $2 a day. But look at the riches that exist in this country, from 0 all the way to 9,000 meters. You're talking about next, we won't go into this. So recently I went to, does anybody know this picture?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tamarko.
र हामी तमर खोलामा जाँदाखेरि रिसर्च गर्यौं अनि हामीले सोचेको प्लटिङ भइराको होला त्यो ठाउँमा तर प्लटिङ भन्दा पनि त्यहाँ चाहिँ मान्छेहरु गाउँ त्यो ढोका छुनेर मान्छेहरु गइराथ्यो मोराङतिर गइराथ्यो काठमाडौँतिर किन त भन्दाखेरि पानी धेरै घटेको छ. And this was news to me. All I really knew was the Sacho Khola. But now coming to the Koshi, I talked to maybe 200 people who verified that this, the Tamar River had declined by 30 to 40%. एउटा कुलले तेनुवा भन्ने ठाउँमा 150 वटा यो स्प्रिङ्सहरु कि पुरै घटेको कि 90% सुकेको त्यस्तो स्थिति. एउटा वडा नम्बर 5 कुलले तेनुवा वडा नम्बर 5 पहिला 50 वटा खोला खोल्सी थियो. अहिले 49 वटा सुक्यो अनि एउटा मात्र छ. The last thing that I'm working on is I'm actually working in the Morang area, in the Surebauer geology area. These are all pictures of local people. We collected 400 different kinds of local plants, and we documented their names. And we're trying to create a new curriculum, and we've also purchased a lot of land for the government schools, so several hundred acres of land in that area. And we want to make a whole belt where you can walk from Dharan all the way to Madhumala and beyond on school-owned land. So we create that corridor, so all those species that I talked about, they have this corridor because the breaking of the ecosystem is what's causing a lot of the species to be lost. So, okay, and I will end my talk and go on. Thank you very much. Just a second. यो सबै पैसा यो बेल्ट प्रोजेक्टमा म दान गर्दैछु. त्यही भएर यो नेपाली कम्युनिटीमा मैले I have not been able to get it out there. So please help me tell people, especially young kids, the new generation of Nepali kids who might want to think about joining the Peace Corps. I hope you can spread word about the Springs of Namje.
ANS President to adjourn the today's meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you.